Hi there, and welcome to Ghostly Trails. I'm Robin Shuckburgh, and tonight I'm taking you on a journey into the world of spook and shiver. Today we welcome you to haunted Bath. This amazing city was founded by the Romans as a thermal spa, and in the Middle Ages became an important centre for the wool trade. In the 18th century, it saw a careful expansion that saw buildings in a neoclassical style harmoniously in keeping with the Roman vernacular. Two such buildings are the Garrick's Head and the Theatre Royal, which are to be our first destination here. One ghost takes the form of a spectral butterfly, which reportedly flits around the theatre every Christmas morning. Another is the Grey Lady, a term we're used to hearing when listening to stories of female ghosts. It is said that this Grey Lady was a young actress who, despite being married, had an affair with a handsome leading man. Furious upon discovering her infidelity, her husband challenged the leading man to a pistol duel. To the young lady's horror, after blinding flashes and the thunderous sound of pistol shots, her young actor-lover lay dead at her feet. Totally distraught, she fled to the Garrick's Head, where, reports vary, but she either flung herself from one of the top-floor windows or hanged herself, depending on whom you believe. The most notable clue that connects this young actress to the spectral Grey Lady is the feathered wrap she wore during her final performance before ending her life. Those who have encountered the ghost have said that the delicate scent of jasmine wafts from her, and they do tell that if you look closely, you can make out the feathered wrap against her shady figure. Another chilling apparition was experienced many years ago by a theatre employee. As he was locking up for the night and walking down the corridor that led to the stalls, a poster for a play that one of his friends had starred in caught his eye. Pausing to check the billing and the name, he became aware of a presence behind him as a prickling sensation, and swept across his back. On turning around to confront whatever this was, he was confronted by a demonic face atop a dark figure, evidently formed of billowing black smoke, swirling around as if trying to solidify into something less spectral. The man immediately ran to find a colleague who suggested it was just an hallucination, perhaps as a result of a few too many beers. A short time later, however, this same colleague was in the same corridor when he experienced exactly the same apparition. What could it have been? We have no historical reference to which to attribute this apparition except, perhaps, the fire of 1862, in which the Theatre Royal was extremely badly damaged. Did someone die in the smoke? Poltergeist activity has also been reported in both the pub and the theatre. Actors have heard knocks, bangs, and loud footsteps as they rehearsed their lines. Some actually walked off stage in frustration at the interruption. In the pub, at the end of a shift some years ago, several employees reported the till being whipped across the room by some kind of unseen force, whereupon they promptly ran for their lives, leaving their drinks untouched. When they returned in the morning, their drinks had been consumed and the glasses lined up on the bar. In Queen Square, the luxurious Francis Hotel is said to be haunted by the ghost of a former housekeeper. It seems she also hanged herself, although probably for different reasons, and today guests report scratching and tapping from inside their rooms, keeping them awake at night. One guest said their water bottle was flipped from a table by this unrelenting spirit. We find another haunted hostelry in the Royal Crescent. Built in the late 1700s and a truly remarkable piece of Georgian architecture, the Crescent is a Grade 1 listed building, and it's not really surprising that it has a resident ghost. Several people have witnessed a phantom horse-drawn carriage pulling up majestically outside as if to collect or receive an important guest. From inside, others have heard a lady singing from a far-off room. On Bennett Street, one of the most famous sightings is that of a man in the hat. This curious figure is thought to be Admiral Arthur Phillip, a Royal Navy officer who died in 1814 at his home at number 19. A lady who lived there more recently said she frequently saw his ghost, and her maid one day rushed to her exclaiming that she'd seen a very extravagantly dressed man on the stairs. The lady then pointed at the mantelpiece where a small painting of the Admiral hung, wearing the same clothes the servant girl had described. On one occasion he was seen sitting in front of the fire, and when spoken to, faded away to nothing. He's been seen outside too, said to appear as a slightly hunched figure, wearing a black robe and a large black hat, wandering with a rocking sailor's gait around the assembly rooms not far from his home. Another of Bath's haunted buildings is Abbey Church House. This building is apparently the oldest surviving Elizabethan house in the city, built sometime in the mid-1560s for the Bath MP Edward Clarke. In 1590, it was acquired by Dr. Robert Baker for the purpose of looking after his wealthy patients during their treatment. In the 17th century, it became the home of Sir Edward Hungerford. A building with such a long history is an obvious location for some ghostly goings-on. In more recent times, the ground floor of the building was used as offices, and workers frequently reported lights going on and off, despite no electrician being able to find any faults. One particularly spooky account comes from a time when work was being done on Bath College, opposite the site. Because of its close proximity, the college workers were being put up in the house. One unfortunate worker was billeted in the attic room. One morning his colleagues observed him as he emerged from his room in a frightful state. During the night he'd woken up to find a woman's face staring at him from above. Terrified, he said it felt like she was actually sitting on his chest, and he was unable to move until gradually she faded away. The builder quit the very next day, along with some of his more gullible friends. Over at Bath Abbey, our next ghostly manifestation is like no other we've come across before. It can be found in a newspaper cutting from 1923, which reads as follows. A ghost soldier. Mysterious manifestation in Bath Abbey. Portrait on the wall. Fighting man with cap and pack. Considerable interest has been aroused by the report of the ghost portrait of Dean Liddell, the famous Oxford cleric, which has suddenly appeared on the wall in Christ Church Cathedral in Oxford. Now comes a fresh story of this curious manifestation, this time from the ancient Abbey of Bath. The figure in this case is one of a bearded soldier with a cap or bonnet carrying a full pack, and has appeared on one of the pillars immediately below the colours of the Somerset Regiment, and alongside a plaque which records the fact that the colours are deposited in the Abbey for safekeeping. In this case there is no remarkable likeness as in the incident at Oxford, but it must be borne in mind that whereas the ghost picture at Oxford dealt with and associated itself with the commemorative tablet of an individual, That at Bath deals with a section of the community, the military, and the likeness is therefore more general. The Abbey soldier has not grown, but has appeared and from time to time gives evidence of considerable change, as if some picture message was being attempted. At times the small goatee beard is absent, and the pack is sometimes small, sometimes large. The cap, too, varies, being sometimes in the shape of a Scotch bonnet and sometimes peaked, but throughout these changes the general resemblance to a soldier is retained. With regard to the ghost picture of Dean Liddell, which appeared at Oxford, developments are taking place, and another ghost face resembling the face of the daughter of the late Dean Liddell has begun to shape itself on the wall of the Oxford Cathedral, near the ghost picture of the Dean, says a correspondent to the Daily Express. It is faint yet, but the features grow clearer day by day. I hope you enjoyed the wonderful city of Bath and its haunting tales. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and if you want to be kept up to date, you can find us on Facebook and Instagram. Happy Halloween, and we'll see you again soon.